Good morning, guys. Today there's no new material video, but there's actually a practical day. You're going to be practicing a lot. Again, you're going to go to the chapter 4 review on page 226, and we're going to go over what you're going to be doing. So you're going to be doing exercises 6 through 8, which is just adding or subtracting polynomials. 9 through 11, which is multiplying polynomials. 16 through 17, synthetic or long division. You'll realize that one has to be done via long division. The other one is your choice. I recommend you do one long and one synthetic division. Number 18 is the remainder theorem, using synthetic division to evaluate a polynomial given, finding the remainder. You're going to do number 20, which is factor the polynomial completely. Factoring. Again, there's two types of factorings you will use in number 20 to make sure you simplify properly. And number 33, which is using the Cartesian rule of signs to find the positive zeros, the negative zeros. So pretty much the table, okay? The table. And then I want you to list all possible solutions with the P divided by Q class we learned the other day, okay? The factors of the constant divided by the factors of the leading term. So again, number 30, you're gonna do the table, positive, negative, imaginary, total zeros, and then you're gonna list all possible zeros. That's number 33. Now, many people have questions about yesterday's class, so let's do a small review. Now, let's say, for example, I have this polynomial. That's minus 5, x plus 1 squared, x minus 2 plus 1. Okay, whatever. Again, step 1, your axis. You're going to find your zeros and you're going to plug them in. So that's positive 5. This is negative 1, more or less. And this is positive 2, more or less. And again, remember, you're going to start from left to right. First, we're going to list our end behavior, our starting points. So this is third degree, this is second degree, so that's fifth degree. Oh, this is a multiplication. And this is first degree. So when you multiply all these degrees, that means you add the exponents, you end up with a 6. Since this is a positive polynomial, it hasn't been reflected. It is a positive even function. So based on our end behavior, I should end in the upper left-hand side, or I should begin in the upper left-hand side and end in the upper right-hand side. So you look at your zeros, you're going to put a point above and to the left of your leftmost zero and a point to the right of your rightmost zero. You're going to begin here, you're going to end here. And pretty much you're going to be connecting the dots. Just in case, let's go over all possible outcomes. If it's positive even, and behavior is like this. If it's negative even, and behavior is like this. If it's positive odd, and behavior is like this. If it's negative odd, and behavior is like this. Now, you're always going to do the exact same process. You're going to begin at the beginning. Hopefully, that's where you begin, at the beginning. And you're going to connect your first dot. And you can lift your pencil. And then let's see. The negative 1, 0 corresponds to this factor. Because when I plug negative 1 in here, I get a 0. Since the degree of this 0 is even, it's going to bounce. So you're going to bounce and you're going to go halfway. Like a little up, and then you're going to connect your 0. You don't have to twist or turn any extra times. You're just going to bounce and connect your other 0. Now let's look at this 0. 2. When I plug 2 in here, I get a 0. The degree of that factor is a first degree, or odd. So it's actually going to go through. You go through, and then you turn and connect the dot. And now you can evaluate the final polynomial, 5. It's an odd degree, so it's gonna go through without having to twist or turn any extra amount of times. If you follow the directions, you're going to end up properly where your end behavior states every single time. Again, you connect the dot. Let's do another example. X minus 2 to the fourth, x plus 3 to the third, x minus 1, x plus 1 to the second, plus 3. Again, coordinate axis, list my zeros, positive 2, more or less here, negative 3, more or less here, negative 1, more or less here. Now, after you place your zeros, again, we're going to look for the degree. 7, 9, ninth degree. Let's make it negative. Just for the kick of, just for fun. So it's a negative odd. It's going to look like this. I'm going to begin up here and I'm going to end down here. And you'll see, without twisting or churning any extra amount of times, just following the rules, I'm going to begin up here and I'm going to end down here. So again, I connect the first dot. Now I see my 3 is this one. It's an odd. So it goes through and I connect the dot. My 1 is odd. It's even, so it's going to bounce. And my 2 is also even, so it's going to bounce. And I'm going to end down here. So you can clearly see I went through this one. Again, because it's odd, I went through, connected the dot, bounced, connected the dot, bounced again, and I ended down here. That's pretty much graphing without using a calculator, given zeros and end behavior. Now, remember, we can't tell how high or low these points go. Just make a small bounce. There's no need to stretch it all the way down here or make a very small bounce. There's no way to tell whether that's correct or incorrect currently. So just, just go a little bit down, bounce, and that's it. You do not have to pass through the origin unless 0 is a 0. And remember, the way that happens is if I have an x out here, okay? And again, if the x has no degree, that means it's odd, it's going to go through. If it has a particular degree, it's going to be even, it's going to bounce. It works exactly the same as any other 0. One thing, I've noticed some folks are not taking attendance properly. Most of you are doing the homework. Maybe I'm missing 1 or 2 students a couple of days. Now, currently, I'm just writing class closed, but I'm taking attendance apart. And the people who do not do the work or do not say attendance will lose academic grade. This is not conduct. Academic grade for the 4th quarter. And this work that you're doing at home is heavily weighted. Now, that's going to benefit you guys in many ways. First of all, when we come back and we start going over all the difficult tests, you'll be grateful that you have all this work that's going to be heavily weighted in your favor. Make sure you do it every day and take it seriously. If you're not doing your work every day, if you're not taking attendance every day, you're losing academic points. Do not lose points. Take care. Have a great day.